yo.
Young folks, old folks, everybody come to Kids Club and have a lot of fun. Please check your chewing gum and raisins at the door, and we'll tell you Bible stories that you never heard before. Hello, children. I'm Pastor Ted. Get ready. I'm going to read the Bible. You're going to hear a story. Today's story is about Jesus' disciples and apostles. When you and I learn about Jesus in school or in kids club, we are disciples. When we tell others about Jesus, then we are apostles. Jesus had hundreds of disciples, but on the day of Pentecost, those disciples became apostles, and 12 of them are special. Look at this painting. Can you find Jesus? There he is in the center. This was painted by Leonardo da Vinci in Italy many hundreds of years ago, and it tells the story. I'm going to read it in John chapter 13, verse 21. Jesus in the center speaks and says, "Very truly I tell you, one of you will betray me." All the disciples get upset. Can you see how upset they are? Now we have a copy of this painting in our Cross and Crown Church. You should walk around and look at the walls. See if you can find a copy of this painting, The Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci. Now, we're going to tell the story of one of Jesus's disciples. This disciple is Judas Iscariot. You can see the red arrow pointing to Judas at the table. Can you say his name? Judas Iscariot? Iscariot. Say it with me. Judas Iscariot. Well, when Jesus announced at the dinner table that someone would betray him, Judas got up and left. Here is the problem that Judas had to face. Not everybody liked Jesus. The Jewish priests and elders did not like Jesus because Jesus had a close relationship to God the Father. And the Roman authorities did not like Jesus because they were afraid Jesus would inspire his Jewish followers to overthrow the government. And so there arose a conspiracy between the Jewish leaders and the Roman leaders to arrest Jesus. And they made a deal, they made a bargain with Judas. Find a quiet, dark place where nobody else is around, and point out Jesus so the Roman soldiers can arrest him. So Judas told the priests and elders that Jesus would be going to the Garden of Gethsemane to pray late at night. Nobody would be around except Jesus and the other disciples. And they said, well, how can the Roman soldiers tell which one is Jesus? And so Judas said, well, I tell you what, I'll go there and I'll greet Jesus with a kiss, and then the soldiers will know which one is Jesus and they can arrest him. And so, after the Lord's Supper, Jesus and Peter and John went to the Garden of Gethsemane, and Jesus prayed. And when he was done praying, he stood up, and he and Peter and John were hanging out. And into the Garden of Gethsemane walked Judas, and he went over and he said, "Hi, Jesus," to give him a big hug, and kissed him on the cheek. And then the soldiers knew this one is Jesus, and they came in and they arrested Jesus, and they took him off to jail. And you know what happened next? They beat Jesus with a whip, and then they put him on the cross, and they nailed him there, and he died. He suffered and he died. Well, Judas, when he saw what his betrayal had led to, started to feel sorry. Have you ever felt sorry for betraying somebody or doing something really bad? Well, Judas felt all alone, and he got depressed, so he went back to the priests and elders who had given him the 30 pieces of silver, and he threw the money at them. And then he went out and he hung himself. He committed suicide. Oh, this is a sad, sad story. Boy, I never want to betray Jesus. I sure don't. You and I, we will not betray Jesus like Judas. Well, because Judas died, he was never going to become an apostle. He was a disciple, but he never became an apostle. Well, I'm sorry to tell you such a sad story, but that's the way it happened. Judas Iscariot betrayed Jesus. Young folks, old folks, everybody come to Kids Club and have a lot of fun. Please check your chewing gum and raisins at the door, and we'll tell you Bible stories that you never heard before. Goodbye, kids.